enkelt and welcome to Pandora. As well as the final trailer for Avatar: The Way of Water releasing in the past several weeks, we also got our first TV spot for the film, entitled Our Fortress, which has shown off many new scenes and elaborated on many we've already seen. Once again, some of the content I'll be talking about may spoil the film's plot, so be warned before going forward in this video. The TV spot opens with a brand new scene showing what I believe to be the same class of ship as the ISS Venture, blasting onto the surface of Pandora with some form of unknown weaponry. It appears to be levelling the entire jungle, wiping out most life in its wake. I've seen many people believe that this is the RDA's terraforming of the moon. While it makes sense for humanity to use orbital weapons to level large swathes of wild jungles to make room for its construction projects, I'm still very unsure as to whether or not this is the exact process we're seeing. What is clear is that this will lead directly into the shot we have seen from a previous trailer of the jungle ablaze with Jake and Neytiri looking on in horror. No doubt this will be one of the reasons they will have to flee, and could even be used on the Omaticaya themselves. Perhaps the clan will suffer a considerable loss at the hands of this weapon, forcing Jake and his family to flee in order to protect the greater whole. Only time will tell what this is, but it's a stunning shot and one that really shows off the full might of the RDA. From high ground, we know a fleet of these vessels arrive on Pandora shortly before the film, but as of the time of writing this, we don't know what their ultimate fate will be. If some do survive the series, then the RDA could have even more firepower in the Way of Water than we were first led to believe, as one ship is capable of bringing so much devastation. During this opening, we also get a look at a new type of aircraft used by the RDA. It seems to be the same one that appeared in the first teaser, shown leaving Bridgehead. While we don't know its official name at this point, it looks to be a successor from the SA-2 Samson that appeared in the first film. As we see in this TV spot, the cockpit has been enlarged to accommodate multiple crew, looking more in line with that of the C-12 Dragon assault ship we saw take part in the destruction of Hometree. I'm very intrigued to learn more about this craft, as it looks to be flying over the jungles of Pandora, perhaps on the hunt for Jake and his family near the opening of the film. We then show more repeat shots from previous trailers, within which we are shown a new look at the sea-based craft in use by the RDA. We've already seen many of them participating in the final battle of the film, but this is our first clear shot of each of the different types. The larger of the craft is known as the Matador, and appeared in some of the earliest behind-the-scenes shots of the film last year. It appears in a lot of this short, and looks to be the main sea-based weapon the RDA will be using against the Na'vi. It appears to be acting as a command vessel for the smaller ships, known as the Picador. We have seen these fast-moving jet boats appear in previous trailers, and look to make up the bulk of humanity's sea-based fighting force. I'm interested to see more of these craft in action in the film, and learn a lot more about their background when the visual dictionary is released. For now, they look to be an imposing force, and one that shows the determination of the RDA in bringing everything they have to this conflict. The TV spot then flashes through several shots we've seen before, with some additional scenes added. We get to see another look at Kiri and her Ilu from the last trailer, we get to see more of Neytiri talking to Jake, presumably leading on from the last trailer, and we get to see who I presume is Lawak, pointing at the night sky with what looks to be Payakan behind him. They've each given us a better glimpse into how this narrative will be joined together, and again shows off the beauty of Pandora. The night sky that you can see in the Lawak shot looks amazing, with the bioluminescence of Payakan only adding to this. One of the most interesting shots in the TV spot finally reveals Moat in the film, seen here praising the birth of Jake and Neytiri's new child. We also see Jake wearing the ceremonial clothes of Ekutan, the previous Olo Ektan of the clan. It's brilliant to see him stepping up to this role, embracing himself as the patriarch of the clan. I can imagine the child seen here is Tuk, being as she is the youngest of the Sully children by the time of the film. As I said before, it's brilliant to see more of the normal day lives of the clan away from the war, so I'm glad we'll get to see this in the film, even if it's only a flashback or part of a montage at the start. Here's hoping we get to see a lot more of the Omaticaya before the story moves focus to the Metcaina. Throughout the spot, we also get to see more shots of the Sea Dragon, one of which shows how the craft is able to traverse over some land as well as the ocean. It appears it will have small landing arms that can be deployed when on the ground, but also appears to act like a real-world catamaran, using its large front structural arms to skim across the water's surface. Not only does this help the craft avoid more of the dangers of the water below, but it also allows for quick troop deployment onto the surface. No doubt this is how the battalion of amp suits were disembarking in the final trailer. It's an imposing fortress for the RDA, which is really highlighted by these scenes in the TV spot. I'm very excited to learn more about the ship, which will hopefully be fully fleshed out in the film's visual dictionary. The TV spot wraps up with a lot more footage of what I assume will be the final battle of the film. We get to see more of the Metcaina riding skimwings and really getting our first sense of the scale of this conflict. One shot in particular highlights the number of warriors that the clans call, showing just how formidable the Na'vi will be in this conflict. We get to see just how integral skimwings are to the clan's warfare, with a Na'vi riding on the back of one attacking the RDA forces from up high. The skimwings' agility in the water may give the Na'vi the advantage they need against the RDA's firepower in this film. We also see Tulkuns participating in the fight. One is even able to destroy an entire boat by lifting it out of the water. It seems that the Na'vi will be able to call upon the creatures of the sea to help them in this fight, much in the same way of how Ewa answered Jake's calls to defend the Tree of Souls. Could we see more creatures join this fight out of their own accord? And could this be the tipping point of the battle into the Na'vi's favour? I'm very excited to see the possibility of a direct intervention from Ewa in the film, as we still don't know how she will intervene in this newfound threat to the moon. Could Kiri help in these Tulkuns answering the call? Only time will tell, but it's a fun area to theorise on until the film's release. Another clip shows Tulkuns and other sea creatures amassing underwater. Could this be them all answering the call just as I talked about? It seems both predator and prey can be seen in this group. As you can see an Ukula swimming next to the Tulkuns. Naturally I assumed these would be at opposite ends of the food chain. Once again this reminds me of how all creatures were called to the Tree of Souls in the first film. Once again reinforcing this theory that this could be a call from Ewa that we're seeing. Also, the Akula has been seen before. In the last trailer, it was the creature attacking Loak, something I made an error in my last video and can only apologise. Thank you to Alexander Shockey for pointing this one out in the comments. Overall, this was a great TV spot that helped to show off a lot more of the film, while still again keeping restrained and not giving too much of the main plot away. I really enjoyed the new scenes that were shown here, and really hope we get more TV spots between now and the film's release. The new scenes really helped to increase my excitement for the film, and will be sure to keep fans speculating and guessing for the next couple of weeks. While I've really enjoyed the focus of the TV spot being on people's fortresses, both for the Na'vi with the clan's home, and humanity's technological hub of the Sea Dragon, I do hope that any further TV spots are equally as themed and thought out. I do worry that they may start to show too much footage of the film before its release, but with the film being over 3 hours long, I doubt they will spoil any of the major revelations or twists. Still, it certainly will be interesting to see how much is shown before December the 16th. But what did you think of the first TV spot? What did you think of the new scenes that were shown? And do you want more footage to be shown before the film's release? I can't wait to hear all your thoughts down in the comments below. But until then, hej alvaj, gievami.